I saw the master there of those who know. Amid the philosophic family by all admired and by all reverenced, there Plato, too I saw, and Socrates, who stood beside him closer than the rest. Dante, the first circles of real. 2300 years ago, after his death, Aristotle still remains one of the most influential personalities who ever stepped in the planet. Even Plato once remarked in a jovial tone that Aristotle's academy is consisted of two parts, the body of his students and the brain of Aristotle. After the death of Plato in 347 BC, Aristotle was treated as a foreigner and being not selected as Plato's successor. Annoyed, he left Athens and joined King Hermias. There he succeeded in marrying a girl, Aetheus. Due to the invasion by the Persian king, Hermias got killed. This time he was rescued by King Philip, king of Macedonia and the father of Alexander. King Philip offered him the post of tutor to Alexander but could not survive in an atmosphere of corruption and vulgarity. He returned to Athens, a sadder man but a wiser philosopher. Aristotle now devoted himself entirely to his study and research, and for the next 12 years he absorbed himself in his school called Lyceum, which acquired a nickname Peripatetic School. In this period, he wrote about 400 books covering almost every aspect of human knowledge and human activity. The famous are Alexander, the Custom of Barbarian, Organon, or the Instrument of Correct Thinking, Rhetoric, Logic, Ethics, Physics, Metaphysics, Politics, and Poetics. His Poetics sowed the seeds for further investigation by idealizing imitation because it is not just formative of the function of tragedy but also lays the foundation of modern aesthetic. Unlike Plato, Aristotle ensures so imitation as a special capacity and medium for all arts to achieve their proper ends, and the end in each case is true recreation. Tom Dodge, Catherius of emotion, it idealizes nature and completes its deficiencies. It seeks to grasp the universal type in the individual phenomenon. The distinction, therefore, between poetic art and history is not that the one uses meter and the other does not. The distinction is that while history is limited to what has actually happened, poetry depicts things in their universal character, and therefore poetry is more philosophical and more elevated than history. Such imagination, such imitation may represent people either or better or as worse than people usually are, or it may neither go beyond nor fall below the average standard. It is the imitation of the worst examples of humanity understand, however, not in the sense of absolute badness, but only in so far as which is low and ignoble enters into what is laughable and comic. Tragedy, on the other hand, is the representation of a serious or meaningful, rounded or finished, and more or less extended or far-reaching representation which is affected by action and not mere narration. It is fitted by portrayed in events which excite fear and pity in the mind of the observer to purify or purge these feelings and extend and regulate their sympathy. The main theme of his three aortic is auditory. This work contains some remarkable sections on emotions and their destruction. The art of persuasive speech, different characters in his ideas on diction, figurative speech, in ethics and politics. Greek moral and political order are being described according to him. The supreme end of life is happiness ethics. Elaborates the morality of Greek citizen and concludes with a correlation of inner and outer life. In politics, he even justifies slavery in cases where the free citizen is of superior race. He refuses communism and favors aristocracy. In his opinion, mixed constitution is the best and secure against civil strife. Metaphysics stands no comparison in the field of higher logic. The object is being, which is not particular but objective. Aristotle's theory of golden mean also deserves attention, where he establishes that the rational way of life is not to do too much or too little in any case, but to take the middle way from the two extremes. Soul is defined by Aristotle as the perfect expression or realization of a natural body. From this definition, it follows that there is a close connection between psychological states and philosophical processes. Body and soul are unified in the same way that wax and an impressive stamped on it are unified. Metaphysicians before Aristotle discussed the soul abstractly without any regard to the bodily environment. This Aristotle believes was a mistake. At the same time, Aristotle regards the soul or mind not as the much of the as the product of the physiological condition of body. What is the truth of body, the substance in which only the bodily condition gain their real meaning. This was just a brief note on the great man and his works. Whatever field or subject he worked, he looked solely and steadfastly on the object. The immortal treatise